Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the top 10 DIY projects you can do right at home. Whether you're looking to spruce up your space or just have some fun, these projects are perfect for you. We've got a little something for everyone, from simple crafts to more advanced builds. So grab your tools, put on your creative caps, and let's get started. Alright, let's kick things off with a classic DIY project, building a birdhouse. This is a great one for beginners, and it's a ton of fun to see birds move into a home you built yourself. You can use scrap wood or even repurpose an old mailbox or something. I'm going to show you a really cool trick with a milk carton later on too. The key here is to make it cozy and safe for the birds. So, we'll be making sure there's proper ventilation, a sturdy roof, and a nice wide entrance for our feathered friends to fly in and out of. Now, before you get started, it's a good idea to do a little research on the birds in your area. Find out what kind of houses they prefer and what size opening they need. You can even paint it in colors that attract birds, but we'll get to the fun decorating part a little later. First, let's gather our materials. You'll need some wood, nails, screws, a saw, a drill, and of course, safety glasses. Safety first, always. We'll take it step by step, measuring twice and cutting once, just like my old shop teacher used to say. Trust me, it's way easier to get it right the first time than to fix a mistake later. Plus, we want to make sure this birdhouse is built to last through all kinds of weather. Rain or shine, those birds are going to need a safe haven. Once we've got the basic structure down, we can get creative with the design. Add a little porch, maybe a chimney for decoration, or even a tiny bird bath underneath. Let your imagination run wild. The great thing about DIY is that you can personalize it however you like. Make it your own little masterpiece. And hey, while you're at it, why not involve the whole family? This is a fantastic activity for kids, teaching them about woodworking, nature, and the importance of providing for our animal neighbors. Plus, it's a great bonding experience. Just imagine the smiles on their faces when you see birds nesting in the birdhouse you built together. Priceless. Now let's move on to a project that's all about preserving memories. Creating a custom photo frame. This is a fantastic way to display your favorite pictures while adding a personal touch to your decor. And the best part is you can use almost anything for this project. Got some old picture frames lying around? Perfect. And we're going to upcycle those bad boys and give them a brand new life. You can paint them, wrap them in fabric, glue on some seashells from your last beach trip. The possibilities are endless. If you're feeling extra crafty, you can even build a frame from scratch using popsicle sticks, cardboard, or even twigs you find in your backyard. It's all about getting creative and thinking outside the box. Once you've chosen your base, it's time to personalize it. Let's say you're making a frame for a picture from your trip to Hawaii. You can decorate it with little plastic flowers, miniature surfboards, or even a tiny volcano, to really set the scene. The key is to have fun with it and let your personality shine through. Now, here's a little pro tip. If you're using a picture frame that's seen better days, don't be afraid to give it a fresh coat of paint. You can go with a classic white or black, or get bold with a bright color that pops. And if you're feeling really adventurous, you can even try your hand at some distressed techniques for a vintage vibe. Once your frame is all decked out, it's time to add the finishing touches. Print out your favorite picture, carefully place it in the frame, and voila! You've got yourself a one-of-a-kind masterpiece that's sure to be a conversation starter. And the best part is, you can make these custom photo frames for all occasions, birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, you name it. It's a thoughtful and personalized gift that shows you put in that extra effort. Plus, it's way more meaningful than something you just picked up at the store. Alright, who's ready to fill their homes with amazing scents? Today we're diving into the wonderful world of candle making. This is a project that's both relaxing and rewarding. Plus, you get to customize the scents to your liking, which is awesome. No more settling for generic store-bought candles with those weird artificial smells. First things first, safety precautions. We'll be working with hot wax, so it's crucial to have a heat-resistant work area and take all the necessary safety measures. Trust me, you don't want any accidental wax spills or burns. Once we've got the safety stuff out of the way, let's talk supplies. You'll need wax flakes, wicks, essential oils for that delightful aroma, and containers for your candles. You can use old mason jars, teacups, pretty much anything that can withstand heat. Now for the fun part, choosing your scents. You can go with classic lavender for a calming vibe, refreshing citrus for an energy boost, or even create your own signature blend. The possibilities are endless. We'll melt the wax flakes carefully, making sure it's completely melted before adding our chosen essential oils. Remember, a little goes a long way with essential oils, so start with a few drops and add more if needed. Once the wax is infused with your desired scent, it's time to pour it into the containers. Make sure you've secured the wicks at the bottom of the containers beforehand. We'll use a little trick with clothespins to keep them centered while the wax hardens. Patience is key here, folks. Let those candles cool and harden completely before trimming the wicks and lighting them up, and there you have it. Your very own homemade candles that smell divine and add a touch of warmth and ambience to your home. Plus, they make fantastic gifts for friends and family. Who doesn't love a beautifully scented candle? Chapter 4. Going Vertical, Building a Garden that Defies Gravity. For all you plant lovers out there with limited space, this next project is for you. We're going vertical and building a garden that defies gravity. That's right, we're talking about vertical gardens. They're all the rage these days, and for good reason. They're space-saving, visually stunning, and a great way to bring a touch of nature indoors, plus they're surprisingly easy to build. You can use wooden pallets, hanging shoe organizers, or even just a simple trellis. It all depends on your style and the space you have available. We'll start by choosing the perfect spot for our vertical garden. It needs to get enough sunlight, so a south-facing wall is ideal. Once we've got our location locked down, it's time to gather our materials. You'll need your chosen base, some heavy-duty plastic sheeting to create a waterproof barrier, potting soil, and, of course, your favorite plants. When it comes to choosing plants for your vertical garden, it's best to go with varieties that don't mind being a little root-bound and can handle the amount of sunlight your chosen spot receives. Succulents, herbs, and ferns are all great options. We'll line our chosen base with the plastic sheeting, securing it with staples or nails. Then we'll fill it with potting soil, leaving some space at the top for watering. Now comes the fun part, planting. Get creative with your arrangement, mixing and matching different colors and textures. You can create a cascading effect with trailing plants, add pops of color with flowering varieties, or go for a more minimalist look with just a few statement plants. Once your vertical garden is all planted up, give it a good watering and let it soak up the sun. And there you have it, a stunning vertical garden that transforms your space and brings a touch of the outdoors in. Plus, it's a great way to impress your friends and family with your DIY skills. Chapter 5, Building a Bookshelf, because every bookworm needs a library. All right, bookworms, this one's for you. Today, we're building a bookshelf to house all those literary treasures. Whether you're a seasoned bibliophile with an ever-growing collection or just starting to build your library, a sturdy and stylish bookshelf is a must-have. Now, don't worry, you don't need to be a master carpenter for this project. We'll be taking it step by step, using simple techniques and readily available materials. First things first, let's talk design. Do you want a traditional freestanding bookshelf, a sleek floating shelf, or maybe a corner unit to maximize space? Once you've decided on the style, it's time to measure your space and gather your materials. You'll need wood boards for the shelves and sides, screws, a drill, a saw, and some sandpaper to smooth out any rough edges. We'll start by cutting the wood boards to size, making sure everything is accurate to avoid any wobbly mishaps. Then we'll assemble the frame of the bookshelf using screws to create a strong and stable structure. Once the frame is up, we can attach the shelves, making sure they're evenly spaced and level. Now comes the fun part, customizing your bookshelf. You can paint it a bold color to make a statement, stain it for a more rustic look, or even add some decorative molding for a touch of elegance. And don't forget about the back panel. You can use plywood, beadboard, or even wallpaper for a pop of pattern. Once your bookshelf is all finished, it's time to fill it up with your favorite books, trinkets, and treasures. And there you have it, a functional and stylish bookshelf that's perfect for showcasing your personality and love of reading. Chapter 6. Unleashing your inner artist, painting a wall mural. Get ready to unleash your inner Michelangelo, because today we're transforming a plain wall into a work of art with a stunning mural. This is a project that might seem daunting at first, but trust me, it's easier than you think. And the results are so rewarding. First things first, choose a wall that's begging for a makeover. It could be a blank wall in your living room, a boring hallway, or even the side of your house if you're feeling really ambitious. Once you've got your canvas, it's time to brainstorm some mural ideas. Do you want something abstract and colourful, a nature-inspired scene, or maybe a whimsical design? The possibilities are endless. You can sketch out your ideas on paper first, or just go with the flow, and let your creativity guide you. Now, for the supplies, you'll need painter's tape to mark off your design, drop cloths to protect your floors, paint rollers and brushes, and of course a variety of paint colours to bring your vision to life. We'll start by prepping the wall, cleaning it thoroughly and patching up any holes or cracks. Then, we'll use painter's tape to outline our design, creating a blueprint for our masterpiece. Now comes the fun part, painting. We'll start with the background colours, using a roller for large areas and brushes for details. Once the background is dry, we can add in our design elements layer by layer. Don't be afraid to experiment with different brush strokes and techniques to create texture and depth. And remember, it's okay if it's not perfect. The beauty of a hand-painted mural is its imperfections and unique character. Once your mural is complete, stand back and admire your handiwork. You've transformed a plain wall into a captivating focal point that adds personality and style to your space. Hey there, eco-warriors. Today we're ditching those single-use plastic bags and sewing our own stylish and sustainable tote bags. This is a project that's not only good for the planet, but also incredibly practical and surprisingly easy, even if you're a sewing novice. First things first, let's gather our materials. You'll need some fabric. You can use cotton, canvas, or even upcycle an old bedsheet or tablecloth. You'll also need a sewing machine, thread, scissors, pins, and measuring tape. Now, let's talk design. Do you want a simple tote bag with 2 straps, a crossbody bag with an adjustable strap, or maybe a tote bag with pockets for extra organization? Once you've decided on the style, it's time to measure and cut your fabric. We'll use a pattern to ensure everything is the right size and shape, but you can also freehand it if you're feeling confident. With our fabric pieces cut out, it's time to start sewing. We'll start by sewing the sides of the bag together, then attach the bottom panel. We'll use a straight stitch for most of the sewing, but we'll switch to a zigzag stitch for the top edges to prevent fraying. Now let's add those all-important handles. We'll cut 2 long strips of fabric, fold them in half lengthwise, and sew along the open edge. Then we'll attach the handles to the bag, making sure they're secure and evenly spaced. And there you have it, your very own custom-made tote bag that's both stylish and sustainable. Chapter 8. Building a coffee table, the centerpiece of your living room. All right, DIY enthusiasts, it's time to tackle a more challenging project, building a coffee table that will be the envy of all your guests. This project requires a bit more skill and tools, but the results are so worth it. First things first, let's choose a design that complements your living room aesthetic. Do you want a sleek and modern coffee table with clean lines, a rustic farmhouse-style table with reclaimed wood, or maybe a mid-century modern table with tapered legs? Once you've got your design inspiration, it's time to gather your materials. You'll need wood for the tabletop, legs and frame, screws, wood glue, a saw, a drill, sandpaper, and your choice of finish. We'll start by building the frame of the coffee table using screws and wood glue to create a sturdy base. Then we'll attach the legs, making sure they're securely fastened and level. Next, we'll cut and attach the tabletop, ensuring it fits snugly within the frame. Now comes the fun part, sanding and finishing. We'll sand down any rough edges and smooth out the surfaces, then apply our chosen finish stain, paint, or a clear coat to protect the wood and enhance its natural beauty. And there you have it, a stunning coffee table that you built with your own 2 hands. It's the perfect centerpiece for your living room, providing a surface for drinks, snacks, and endless conversations. Chapter 9. Creating a terrarium, a miniature garden under glass. Welcome to the magical world of terrariums, where we create miniature gardens encased in glass. This project is perfect for plant lovers of all levels, from beginners to green thumbs. First things first, let's choose a container for our terrarium. You can use a glass jar, a fishbowl, a vase, or even a vintage apothecary jar. The possibilities are endless. Once you've got your container, it's time to gather your supplies. You'll need pebbles or gravel for drainage, activated charcoal to keep the soil fresh, potting soil specifically formulated for terrariums, and of course, a variety of small plants that thrive in a humid environment. We'll start by adding a layer of pebbles or gravel to the bottom of our container for drainage, followed by a thin layer of activated charcoal. Then we'll add a layer of potting soil, making sure it's deep enough to accommodate the roots of our plants. Now comes the fun part, planting. We'll carefully remove our chosen plants from their pots, gently loosen their roots, and arrange them in our terrarium, creating a miniature landscape. Once our plants are in place, we'll add a top dressing of pebbles, moss, or decorative stones to complete the look. And there you have it, a beautiful terrarium that brings a touch of nature indoors. Chapter 10. Macrame Magic, creating a boho wall hanging. Get ready to unleash your inner bohemian with this trendy and therapeutic DIY project, creating a macrame wall hanging. Macrame is the art of knotting cord or string to create beautiful patterns and designs, and it's easier than you might think. First things first, let's gather our materials. You'll need macrame cord. You can find this at most craft stores, a wooden dowel or stick for hanging, scissors, and a measuring tape. Optional supplies include beads, feathers, and other decorative elements to personalize your wall hanging. Now let's talk knots. The two basic macrame knots are the square knot and the spiral knot. Once you've mastered these two knots, you can create a wide variety of patterns and designs. We'll start by cutting lengths of macrame cord, doubling them over, and attaching them to our wooden dowel using a lark's head knot. Then we'll use a combination of square knots and spiral knots to create our desired pattern. You can follow a macrame pattern or let your creativity guide you and create your own unique design. As you knot, make sure your cords are taut and your knots are consistent in size and spacing. Once you've reached your desired length, trim the ends of the cords and even them out, and there you have it. A beautiful macrame wall hanging that adds texture, warmth, and a touch of bohemian style to your space. Outro DIY like a pro. And there you have it, folks. 10 amazing DIY projects you can tackle at home. From building a birdhouse to creating a macrame wall hanging, these projects are a fantastic way to unleash your creativity, learn new skills, and add a personal touch to your space. Remember, the most important thing is to have fun and don't be afraid to experiment. DIY is all about trial and error, and sometimes the most unexpected mistakes lead to the most beautiful creations. So gather your tools, put on your creative caps, and get ready